Now up in the air. Find out why a former fraternity house could get demolished. And Purdue students and the Indiana Department of Natural Resources restocked the Columbian Park lagoon with fish. How it's a learning opportunity for students to get some real-world experience.
All right, highs today 78 to 83 over the area, 84 at Delphi, 82 at Attica. We got to 82 at Fowler, and nice and cool tonight. Temperatures running the upper 50s to 60s. We've got the latest though on the return of the heat ahead next.
News 18 at 11 starts now. WLFI Lafayette. News from where you live.
Good evening, everyone, and a happy hump day to you all. I'm Meredith HACKLER, and we thank you so much for joining us. Supply chain distributions are affecting nearly every aspect of our daily lives. News 18's Joe Paul reports how those distributions are hitting schools, more specifically their breakfast and lunch menus.
Lunch is served at Burnett Creek Elementary School, but it might not be what was on the menu.
Currently, on a daily basis, we are shorted up to 10 products per school, ranging from breakfast items to entree items to disposables.
That's Lori Cords, Director of Nutrition Services for Tippecanoe School Corporation. She finds herself constantly adjusting menus based on what's available that day.
For example, today it was supposed to be mandarin oranges and we ended up with sausage gravy. So then we're going to Plan B, but there are some days we go all the way down to Plan Z.
It's not just an issue at TSC. Nationwide food shortages are hitting schools across the state and the WLFI viewing area. Here's Kelly Lease, Director of Food Service for Logansport Community School Corporation.
It's been very unpredictable. We thought last year was bad, but this year's probably about twice as bad.
Officials are blaming nationwide labor shortages. Companies are finding themselves without enough workers to produce and transport food.
You know, there's not enough workers at the manufacturing plants. There's not enough drivers to deliver the food. And we in turn have labor shortages ourselves.
Schools are doing their best to serve nutritious meals, but officials say the issue is out of their hands.
We are doing our absolute best to follow the meal pattern, but it is very discouraging that we're not able to give our kids the variety and choices that we have in past.
Reporting in Tippecanoe County, Joe Paul, News 18.
Schools are urging parents to be patient and aware that breakfast and lunch menus are subject to change. School officials expect the issue to linger for at least the rest of the year, if not longer. The owner of a former fraternity house is asking to tear it down and build a 4-story apartment building with retail space below. For close to 100 years, the house was home to the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity. However, ATO stopped renting the house last year, and it's been vacant since. Several people spoke out against this proposed development, including Purdue University itself. General Counsel for Purdue, Steve Schultz, gave Purdue's formal opposition at the Area Plan Commission meeting tonight. He says that the university feels that the mixed-use development is inconsistent with Purdue's master plan. He added that Purdue planned on preserving the property for congregate living space in the future, since it is a historic building and is on the National Registry. However, Dan Teeter, the attorney representing the owner of the building, says Purdue was interested in the development previously.
What we're doing is no different than what Purdue does, but Purdue's saying tonight it's okay for Purdue, but it's not okay for you, and that is not right.
The Area Plan Commission passed the proposal 12-5. It now goes to the West Lafayette City Council for approval. If approved, the $12 to $15 million project could break ground in spring of 2022. Today, Purdue University students teamed up with the Indiana DNR and Lafayette Parks to restock the Columbian Park lagoon with fish. News 18's Peter Hewlett tells us how it's the beginning of a long-term lesson for students.
At least catch and release.
One fish, two fish. How about 900 largemouth bass? That's how many fish are being restocked into the newly renovated Columbian Park lagoon. Fisheries biologist with the Indiana DNR Tom Bakula says the work will revitalize fishing at the park.
But there was really nothing to fish for in the ponds. There was some bullhead that were left, It was the renovation has made this a night and day change and much more agreeable for various fish management aspects.
But the project goes beyond sporting. With a partnership between the DNR, Lafayette Parks, and Purdue University, this restocking presents an opportunity for students to gain real-world experience. Purdue Clinical Assistant Professor Mitchell Ziske explains.
You know, it's one thing to put fish in there and call it a day, but, you know, having good fisheries that people can use requires management through time, and so we want to create a long-term partnership with the Columbian Park whereby we assess the fish every year to see how the fish are growing, to make sure the fish populations are in balance.
Before the fish are stocked, students help to inject a small red dot onto the bellies of the fish, almost like a tattoo. This tagging will help them track the fish for years to come.
And so I'm hoping that Purdue students can come along and be part of that every year and learn some of the core skills of fisheries management that they can take to their jobs in the future.
From Columbian Park in Lafayette, Peter Hewlett, News 18.